By the age of 40, the average adult has lost approximately 50% of the functional capacity of their cellular power plants, the mitochondria. By age 70, that number can approach 95%. This is not a theory. It is a biological certainty. This gradual, systemic power failure is the root of the pervasive fatigue that many believe is an inevitable part of aging. But it is not. There is a strategic master plan, a series of precise and actionable protocols designed to halt this decline and systematically rebuild energy from the cellular level up. This is not about accepting limits. It is about understanding the system and reclaiming control. The human body contains trillions of these microscopic organelles. Mitochondria are the engines that convert food and oxygen into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the fundamental energy currency of life. Every heartbeat, every thought, every movement is paid for with ATP. When these power plants become damaged and inefficient through a process called mitochondrial dysfunction, the entire organism suffers. It manifests as physical exhaustion, mental fog, and a diminished capacity to recover from exertion. The feeling is often described as a battery that no longer holds a full charge. This is the silent, underlying crisis for millions of adults over the age of 55. It is often misdiagnosed as simple aging, a condition to be managed rather than a problem to be solved. This perspective is fundamentally flawed. The body is not a machine with parts that simply wear out. It is a dynamic, adaptable system that responds to signals. The decline in mitochondrial health is not a passive decay. It is an active process that can be influenced, slowed, and in some cases, even reversed. Understanding this is the first step toward building a new reality. The challenge is not to fight against the current of time, but to provide the body with the correct biological information, the right raw materials, and the precise signals needed to trigger its own innate repair and regeneration programs. This is not about miracle cures or anti-aging fantasies. It is about strategic, science-backed living. It begins with feeding the engines of life. The first pillar of this master plan is the nutrient ignition protocol. Cellular energy production is not a vague concept. It is a complex biochemical assembly line, and this assembly line requires specific parts. With age, the body's ability to produce certain critical components diminishes. One of the most important is coenzyme Q-10. This vitamin-like substance is an essential component of the electron transport chain, the final stage of ATP production within the mitochondria. Studies published in journals like the Journal of Gerontology have shown a direct correlation between declining CoQ10 levels and age-related fatigue. Compounding this, a significant portion of the 55-plus population takes statin medications, which are known to inhibit the body's natural synthesis of CoQ10, creating a perfect storm for energy depletion. Another non-negotiable component is magnesium. This mineral is a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including the final step where ATP is actually created. It is the spark plug for the cellular engine. Yet, data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey consistently shows that a large percentage of older adults have inadequate magnesium intake. Without sufficient magnesium, the energy production process stalls. The body may have the fuel, but it lacks the critical element to ignite it. Then there is alpha-lipoic acid, a powerful antioxidant that is unique because it is effective in both water-based and fat-based environments, allowing it to protect the mitochondria from oxidative stress both inside and out. It helps to regenerate other antioxidants like vitamin C and glutathione, effectively managing the exhaust of energy production. Implementing the nutrient ignition protocol involves a deliberate shift in food choices. The richest food sources of coenzyme Q10 include heart, liver, and kidney, as well as fatty fish like salmon and mackerel. For those not inclined toward organ meats, a targeted, high-quality supplement such as ubiquinol, the active form of CoQ10, can be a strategic option after discussion with a healthcare provider. Magnesium is abundant in dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and avocados. Alpha-lipoic acid is found in smaller amounts in spinach, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. The goal is not dietary perfection, but a consistent supply of these mission-critical nutrients. It is the act of consciously providing the raw materials for energy, day after day. But what if the most powerful energy booster isn't something one eats, but a specific way one moves for just 10 minutes a day? The science of hormesis reveals the counterintuitive secret in our next section. The second pillar of the master plan is the movement blueprint. The conventional approach to exercise in later life is often misguided, focusing on long, slow activities that can sometimes increase oxidative stress without providing the right signal for adaptation. The strategic goal of movement for energy is not burning calories. It is mitochondrial biogenesis. This is the process where the body, in response to a specific stressor, builds new, more powerful, and more efficient mitochondria. The principle that governs this process is called hormesis. Hormesis is the concept that a brief, intermittent dose of a stressor can trigger a cascade of beneficial, adaptive responses that make the organism stronger and more resilient. Too much stress is damaging, but too little stress leads to atrophy and decay. The key is the dose. High-intensity interval training, or HIIT, is a powerful hormetic stressor. This does not mean sprinting at maximum effort for someone who is deconditioned. It means applying the principle of intervals. For example, on a stationary bicycle, a protocol could be 30 seconds of faster, more challenging pedaling, followed by 90 seconds of slow, easy recovery. This cycle is repeated for just 10 to 15 minutes. During the high-intensity burst, the cell's energy demand skyrockets. The existing mitochondria struggle to keep up. This sends a powerful signal to the cellular command center, a molecule called PGC1-alpha, which is the master regulator of mitochondrial biogenesis. The body's response is profound. It begins the process of building new, more robust cellular engines. This is profoundly more efficient than an hour of slow walking. Similarly, resistance training is a critical component. Muscle is the body's primary metabolic sink and a major reservoir of mitochondria. As muscle mass declines with age, a condition known as sarcopenia, so does the body's overall energy-producing capacity. Lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even performing challenging bodyweight exercises like squats and push-ups sends a direct signal to build and maintain this metabolically active tissue. The movement blueprint is about precision. It is about short, intense bursts of effort that tell the body not just to survive, but to adapt, to grow stronger, and to build a more powerful energy infrastructure from the ground up. We've refueled the power plants and signaled for more to be built. But what controls the entire energy grid's daily rhythm? The answer lies not in a gym, but in the light that enters the eyes each morning. The third pillar is mastering the chronobiology code. Every cell in the body contains a clock, a molecular mechanism that follows a roughly 24-hour cycle. These peripheral clocks are synchronized by a master clock in the brain, located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus. This master clock dictates the rhythm of nearly every physiological process, from hormone release and body temperature to metabolism and, most critically, energy levels. It is the conductor of the body's entire orchestra. For this system to function optimally, it requires a powerful, consistent signal from the environment each day. That signal is light. The weakening of this circadian rhythm is a hallmark of the aging process, leading to disrupted sleep, daytime fatigue, and metabolic dysfunction. The most potent signal for anchoring this rhythm is exposure to natural sunlight within the first hour of waking. The specific blue and violet wavelengths present in morning sunlight strike photoreceptors in the retina, sending a direct signal to the master clock that the day has begun. This single act triggers a cascade of events. It suppresses the sleep hormone melatonin, initiates a healthy rise in the alertness hormone cortisol, and sets the timer for melatonin to be released again approximately 16 hours later, ensuring a timely onset of sleep. 10 to 20 minutes is all that is required. It is a simple, non-negotiable biological input. Without this clear start signal, the body's rhythms become flat and disordered, like an orchestra without a conductor. Meal timing is another critical component of the chronobiology code. When food is consumed, it signals the clocks in the digestive system, the liver, and the pancreas. Eating late at night, when the master clock is preparing the body for sleep and repair, sends a conflicting message. This circadian mismatch can lead to poor blood sugar control and reduced energy the following day. Aligning the main eating window with the daylight hours supports the body's natural rhythms. The final piece is managing light exposure in the evening. The same blue light that is so beneficial in the morning is disruptive at night. Light from screens, phones, and harsh overhead lighting can suppress melatonin production, delaying the onset of sleep and reducing its restorative quality. Implementing a simple digital sunset, 1 to 2 hours before bed, can dramatically improve sleep quality and, consequently, next day energy. You can optimize your nutrients, movement, and light exposure, but a hidden saboteur could be draining your energy from the inside out. We'll now uncover the 2 silent fires that most people over 55 are unknowingly battling every single day. The fourth pillar of the master plan involves extinguishing the hidden drains of energy, chronic inflammation, and glycemic variability. Chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes referred to as inflammaging, is a condition where the body's immune system is perpetually activated at a low level. This is not the acute, helpful inflammation that occurs after an injury. This is a systemic, smoldering fire that consumes vast amounts of metabolic resources. An activated immune system is incredibly energy-intensive. It steals resources that would otherwise be used for physical activity, cognitive function, and cellular repair. This process directly damages mitochondria, impairing their ability to produce ATP efficiently and creating a vicious cycle of more inflammation and less energy. This inflammatory fire is largely fueled by diet. Ultra-processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and industrial seed oils rich in omega-6 fatty acids are highly pro-inflammatory. The strategic response is to adopt a dietary pattern that actively quenches this fire. This includes prioritizing foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like wild-caught fatty fish, which are the direct building blocks for the body's own anti-inflammatory molecules. It also means consuming a wide variety of colorful plants, which are rich in polyphenols. These plant compounds act as powerful antioxidants and signaling molecules that help to downregulate inflammatory pathways. Every meal becomes an opportunity to either fuel the fire or to fight it. The second hidden drain is glycemic variability, the wild roller coasters of blood sugar spikes and crashes. When a meal high in refined carbohydrates and sugar is consumed, blood glucose spikes rapidly. The pancreas responds by releasing a surge of insulin to shuttle this glucose out of the bloodstream. The result is often an overcorrection, leading to a rapid drop in blood sugar or hypoglycemia. This crash is experienced as a sudden wave of fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. The body is sent into a state of energy crisis. This pattern, repeated daily, is tremendously stressful and draining. The solution is to build every meal around protein, healthy fats, and fiber. These macronutrients slow down the absorption of glucose, promoting stable blood sugar and providing a steady, reliable stream of energy for hours, rather than a brief, chaotic flash. The physical body is only half of the equation. In our next section, we will explore the command center, the brain, and how its state can either supercharge your mitochondria or bring the entire system to a grinding halt. The fifth pillar addresses the mind-energy connection. The brain, despite being only about 2% of the body's weight, consumes an astounding 20% of its total energy. It is the most mitochondrially dense organ in the body. It is therefore uniquely vulnerable to energy deficits. Psychological stress is a primary saboteur of brain energy. When the body perceives a threat, whether it is a physical danger or a mental worry about finances or family, it activates the sympathetic nervous system and releases the stress hormone cortisol. In short bursts, this is a life-saving adaptation. But when stress becomes chronic, day after day, elevated cortisol becomes toxic. It directly damages mitochondria, particularly in the hippocampus, the brain's center for learning and memory. This is the biological basis for the brain fog and mental exhaustion that accompanies chronic stress. The antidote to this chronic stress response is the intentional activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest state. This does not require long meditation sessions. Simple techniques like box breathing, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4, can have an immediate and profound effect. This practice has been shown to increase heart rate variability, a key marker of nervous system balance and resilience. Just 5 minutes of this practice can shift the body out of a state of alarm and into a state of repair, conserving precious energy. This is a tool for actively managing the body's energy budget at the highest level of control. Equally critical is the role of sleep. During the deep stages of non-REM sleep, the brain undergoes a profound cleansing process. The glymphatic system, the brain's unique waste clearance pathway, becomes 10 times more active. It flushes out metabolic byproducts and neurotoxic waste that accumulate during waking hours. This is non-negotiable maintenance. Without sufficient deep sleep, this waste builds up, contributing to neuroinflammation and directly impairing mitochondrial function. The result is waking up feeling unrefreshed, as if the brain's hard drive was never defragmented. Prioritizing sleep hygiene, a cool, dark, quiet environment, and a consistent schedule is not a luxury. It is a fundamental strategy for preserving cognitive energy and overall vitality. Knowledge without action is merely data. In this final section, we will integrate everything we have learned into a simple, 7-day protocol that anyone can start tomorrow morning. This is where the strategy becomes reality. This master plan is not about a radical, unsustainable overhaul. It is about the strategic layering of small, high-leverage habits. The goal of the first week is not perfection, but momentum. On day 1, the only focus is on light and breakfast. Within the first hour of waking, get 10 minutes of natural sunlight. Then, build breakfast around a minimum of 30 grams of protein. This simple combination anchors the circadian rhythm and stabilizes blood sugar for the entire day. That is the only goal. On day 2, maintain the day 1 habits and add one 10-minute movement snack. This could be a brisk walk around the block, a set of bodyweight squats, or 10 minutes on a stationary bike, focusing on a few short bursts of higher intensity. On day 3, continue the first 2 habits and introduce one powerful anti-inflammatory element. This could be swapping a processed snack for a handful of walnuts, adding a serving of wild-caught salmon to a meal, or brewing a cup of green tea. The goal is to make one conscious choice to reduce inflammation. On day 4, the focus turns to the nervous system. Keep the existing habits. And, at some point during the day or before bed, practice 5 minutes of deliberate, slow breathing, like the box breathing technique. This is an investment in calming the stress response. For days 5, 6, and 7, the mission is consistency. The task is to simply practice these 4 foundational habits: morning light, protein-first breakfast, a movement snack, and a moment of intentional calm. This is the initial framework. It is designed to be achievable and to create tangible results in energy and well-being within the first week. This protocol is not a rigid prescription, but a flexible template. It respects the reality of individual lives while providing a scientifically grounded path forward. The fatigue that so many experience after 55 is not an inevitable sentence. It is a signal. It is a signal that the body requires a new set of inputs, a more strategic approach to living. It is a call to become the active author of one's own health and vitality. The power to rebuild vitality resides within the trillions of mitochondria inside every cell. By providing them with the right fuel, the right signals to grow stronger, and the right environment in which to thrive, one can systematically rewrite their experience of aging. It is a process of deliberate, intelligent action. It is a commitment not to turning back the clock, but to winding it well for all the years to come. If this strategic approach to health resonates, subscribe to how_be_healthy for more science-backed master plans to build a life of strength and independence. Click the bell icon so you never miss a vital update.